custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
Yes, good evening. You are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening to you. It is a little bit past 8 o'clock. 13 past is sort of getting a little bit past 8 p.m.-ish. I agree, that is true. On the 3rd of May, now down in Melbourne where I am, it's, I don't know, it's about 20-odd degrees, but I did listen to my illustrious co-host earlier, and he was telling me it's very, very hot up there, so we will talk about that. But talking about being hot, we have got a hot show for you tonight. We have got Beerducation coming off the top of the bracket, as they say in the game, but it's not really a bracket. Anyway, first segment, Beerducation, and we're going to let you know the right way to pour a beer, because there's many blokes around here, and maybe a few women as well, that have been pouring beer wrong for a very, very long time, and we will explain to you why. And, well, actually, we won't. We may let a American guy explain it to you, and we'll have a chat about it afterwards anyway. And we've got a couple of really good beers to discuss as well. So that should be a bit of fun. And then we're going to kick off with Indelible Indigenous, talking about Indigenous candidates running in this year's election. That is Wency's side of the equation, which will be very interesting. And I have got a lady called, and I need to get this right, it's very hard to pronounce certain names, but this one I think I can do okay. Nayuka Gori. She is a bit of a gun, a bit of a trailblazer, and we will discuss a little bit more later why. She's got interesting views on the Constitution and where the First Nations voice should be, and you'll be quite surprised. I know I was. And then after that, we've got What's on the Box. And we're taking, normally on What's on the Box, we talk about what is on the box, what we're watching, these sort of things. And Wency's talking about a show tonight called Old Enough. I know nothing about it, so I'm very excited to find out. You always got something interesting to say on What's on the Box. But I am taking a slightly different slant tonight, and talking about the amount of shows that Netflix, the streaming service, has been losing to streaming rivals, which is really interesting because, as we know, Netflix was one of the first, if not the first, that people got on when it came to streaming. And so that'll round out the show. Now, just before we kick off, I'd just like to say I was listening to The Party Room. I don't know if you've ever heard of the brilliant podcast called The Party Room by Fran Kelly and Patricia Carvelis that are on RN. And Patricia Carvelis still is. Fran Kelly, I don't believe is anymore, but she's still doing other things around. I think she just recently did some, I think it was Four Corners, or Foreign Correspondent, on some mafia issues in Italy, etc. So, yeah, she's always around. Anyway, she is part of The Party Room. And I was listening to a bit of their conversation, and I can't help but think, because it does do my head in slightly. We've got a guy that doesn't hold a hose. It isn't a race when it actually is a race, doesn't order enough vaccines, doesn't have a clue how he's actually meant to treat women in his own government, in his own party. He's got women in his party that have said he's horrible, shouldn't be prime minister, and is a bully. And he said people outside the party saying he's a bully. He turns up at certain occasions and people just yell at him and throw things at him. But he loves the curry. Apparently, he loves the curry. Well, newsflash, ScoMo, I've been loving a curry a hell of a lot longer than you have, and I will put my curry up against your curry any day of the week, my friend, because curry is all you got. I can cook just about anything. Thai, Vietnamese, soup, you name it, buddy. I will put it up to you anytime you like. So you and your curry can go and get stuffed. And that is all I've got to say on that. And with that, I am going to introduce our illustrious co-host, and he is always patiently waiting, because that's what he's like. He's a very, very patient man, and I don't want him to wait anymore. So without any further ado, here we go. Let's see.
Settle down, everyone. Settle down. Thank you, everyone. You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Stick around.
Yeah, I will stick around. I will stick around just a little bit longer. Let's say another hour or so. But yes,
no, that'd be good. Yeah, I enjoy that. How are you?
So yeah, good. I just heard that you're challenging good old Smoko to a cook-off. I would
challenge him to a cook-off any day of the week, and he's not allowed to use a recipe either.
Yeah, all off by heart, just with ingredients that you're given.
Yep.
A mystery box, maybe?
Sorry?
A mystery box, perhaps?
Maybe. I will have a crack at him anytime you like on any cuisine he wants to have a go at.
Do you ever watch MasterChef?
Oh yeah, he probably does. I don't know.
No. Do you watch MasterChef?
Yes, I have. I watched a few of those different programs.
Yeah.
There's so many of them now.
There is, but the mystery box is where you have no idea what's under the box, but you've got to cook whatever ingredients are in there. So I'm just trying to think, what could I give you in a mystery box that would be curry related? I could probably give you, I don't know, maybe octopus.
No, definitely not touching octopus. I told you last time, I've never eaten octopus. I know,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Ever again.
Because I am very intelligent. Yes, I forgot about that.
They are, unlike you.
Why you being a dickhead for? Stop being a dickhead.
Sorry, that accidentally came on. I'm not sure.
Right, sure. It would be interesting to see you in a cook-off. And if he's up for it, instead of the stupid debates, who needs a debate? Let's say who's the better cook, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'll give him a run for his money anytime.
Much more entertaining than a debate.
Oh, for sure.
Especially now it's not going to be on the ABC national broadcaster.
No, so they've gone for what? Channel 9, is it? Or Channel 7 or something?
7 this week, and maybe Channel 9 upcoming in the week before.
Oh, that's great. So stick to all the right-wing channels. That's excellent.
Yep, exactly. Everyone on his side.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. Albo beat him last time, and it's on Sky, so I don't know why he can't beat him again. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially with today's interest rates going up, and that's a bit of ammunition for the Labor Party and the Greens, I'm sure.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, and as usual, which is pretty normal, it's not his fault. None of it's his fault.
I was wondering whether he took any credit for that today, because I've stayed away from the news today.
Yeah, no, it's good to do that at times. You can just go on and live your life like normal people.
Oh, exactly. I knew the interest rates were going to go up. I was pretty confident of that. So it was just a matter of tuning into the news for 5 minutes in the evening. But yeah.
Well, I was reading tonight that what's his? I know it's Lowe, but what's his first name? Can you remember his first name? Philip Lowe. That's one. Yeah. Oh, Phil, baby. He said that interest rates could go up to 2.5%. Yeah,
by when though? This end of this year, or
I wouldn't have thought so. No, I wouldn't. I that part I didn't read, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was 2023 or something.
Yeah, so. It's interesting. My parents, when they bought their house back in 1980, what pun?
You said it was interesting.
Boom, boom. There we go. We got it. Yes. When my parents bought their house in the 80s, interest rates were about 17 or 18%, if I'm not mistaken. But then houses were only about $30,000, $40,000 back then.
That the 80s, was it?
Yeah, early 80s.
I remember my mum and dad bought the house, the first house I really remember living in. It was $7,000.
Wow.
But that was a lot of money for Dad because,
Yeah.
they weren't, I can't remember what he was earning, but it wasn't anywhere near that. You're talking 75.
Wow.
So, it's a long time ago. 45 years ago. So things have changed a bit in 45 years. 7,000 to, I know for a fact, because I've costed the house that I lived in. I had a look at it a little while ago. They've done a few things to it. It definitely looks better.
I bet. As you'd want and expect in 45 years.
Yes, exactly right. But there's a few things they have done that I haven't been very happy with. They've lost a lot of land, and I think they've subdivided. Because we lived on 3/4 of an acre. So.
Oh wow.
So, but I mean, when you live in the country and all your friends are farmers and all the rest, you just don't think about it,
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
I grew up with blokes with kids that their dads had, I don't know, 10,000 acres or whatever. You just don't think about it because all your friends are the same. They're all farmers, so they've all got, our next door neighbour had, I think, 100,000 acres or something.
Jeez. No wonder kids in the country end up riding motorbikes from a young age, because you've got to travel so far just to see your mate next door.
Well, that's right. That is 100% right. And I had to do the same thing. If I was riding to see, if I rode to see a friend, it would be it'd be a good hour. Right. Be a good 20 Ks or so, and that's when you're only 13 years old or something.
Yeah.
I don't think there's too many kids nowadays that do 20 Ks at 13 years old to go and see a friend. I doubt it very much.
No, they just do a Zoom call or FaceTime or something now. It's a lot easier.
Well, that's true. But, I mean, that's probably why we were fitter back then as well, though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was. Where are we? It's 25 past. We should probably crack on a bit.
Yes.
I think we should.
We did start late, mind you, but...
Absolutely. So what I'll do is I will do this and then we'll crack on to Beerducation.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
They do get on the beers. We're getting on the beers. So, my friend, do you want to start with your IPA, or do you want me to go to the video showing how to pour a beer?
Yes, let's do that first, because then we can follow up with...
We can follow. Yes,
a practical example. Yes.
I like it. Very, very good. So what you're about to see now, people, is how you are actually meant to properly pour a beer and why. So enjoy.
We always want to drink beer out of a glass because beer has a sound to it, just like a taste, and beer is carbonated. And we need to release that carbonation into a glass. What beer foam can do in your belly? So when you go out, you might see a beer poured like this, where the server's only goal in the life is to not let any of that CO2 out of the beer. A couple things here. One, without that color foam, it's not really a beer.
Right, for anyone that's on the pod and not on the video, which will be quite a few.
Mm.
What he has done at the moment is he's done what many people do, which is lie the glass down on the side and then pour the beer down the glass. So you effectively have no head on the beer at all. And so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a glass with no head.
2, I decide I'm going to order some nachos. And I take that first bite, and once it hits my belly, that happens.
What he's showing now is that the nachos in his stomach after he's poured a flat beer into it is basically bubbling over the side. So what he's talking about is getting an upset stomach or just being really full afterwards because all the foam is now in your stomach rather than you drinking through it at the start. Or the CO2, if you like. That's
the gases.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's about 2.5 bottles of CO2 on this beer that weren't released in the glass. That's 100% what's going on in my stomach if the beer's not poured properly. Now you think, wow, every time I had beer, I get really bloated. And that's what's going on. Or you can get a beer and you pour it down the side with vigor and you're breaking that CO2 out. And granted, people say that looks like a lot of foam. The foam always turns into beer. And then I take that same bite of food and I try to have a swallow, and it's not agitating my stomach because I have broken that CO2 out in the glass. So that's how important it is to pour beer into a glass. In this foam is where we're going to taste the sweetness of the malt and the bitterness of the hops, but really it's going to protect the integrity of that aroma that's underneath the foam through each sip.
And that's how we like it.
Yes. Awesome.
And the funny thing about that is that was from the Business Insider.
Yeah. Of all places, they must have a love of beer. There's any excuse to test some beer and tax deduction. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. So the good thing is that you and I have been doing that for a long time, but we didn't. We knew that. We knew it was the right way to pour, but we didn't know why.
Didn't know the reasons, and I think releasing the carbon, the CO2 is important because that's where a lot of the flavor gets released as you're tasting it, like you said, which is good. But I didn't know about the bloatiness in your stomach if you don't pour it like that.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think also that makes sense that if you pour it into a glass and you've broken that CO2 barrier, you're going to have a better time drinking it than if you drink it out of a bottle. Because if you drink it out of a bottle, it's going to be flat the whole time, isn't it? It's not going to have a head.
Yeah, exactly. I've always done that for the main reason because I don't know how clean the bottle is or the can when you're drinking out of it. So for hygiene, I've always just decided, just drink it out of a can, from a glass as well. Has been part of the reason, but I think the effect, just the pouring and all that, just getting that foam, that head on the beer is always, I think, makes it look good. But I didn't realize the science behind it, which is great.
No, it's pretty cool when you do get the science behind it. One of the main reasons that I always use a glass is because if I was caught inside the house with a can or a bottle and it was in a glass, this is what I'd hear. And I knew that meant that I need to put it in a glass. So my mum was very stringent about that. So, that's
what was her reason?
Yeah, well, I'd say, knowing my mum, she would call it courtesy and respect.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's uncouth.
Yes.
In her eyes. Quotes says the Keepster. Uncouth. My mum was pretty not uncouth. And so she would say, if you're drinking a can or a bottle or whatever, do it outside. That's okay.
Yeah.
But glass inside the house if it's, if you're drinking beer or something. So
Fair enough.
So I've always done that, and I've done it here as well. And I suppose as we've sort of denoted before, when we travelled around the world, I've seen it happen many times that, with a beer, they always, I've seen how they pour it, and I see they, take the fluff off the top, the foam off the top.
They just scrape it off.
Yeah. They do that in a lot of European countries. And if you go to a Belgian beer bar, they always do that. So,
I think Guinness, they do that with Guinness beer when they pour it. They pour it directly in, get the big foam, they scrape it off, wait a bit, and then pour it again, scrape until they get to the top.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that is exactly right. But it's interesting because the beers have changed so much nowadays, and the beers that we bring onto this program are quite different to, the normal everyday sort of beers, because we try to bring something with a little bit of life and a little bit of fun. There's a little bit different, but maybe, who knows, it could be good as well. I don't have massive high hopes on the one I've got today, but we'll see how we go. I just noticed the alcohol content on it, and I just I went, I don't know. But anyway, we'll find out.
You think it's going to be a repeat of last month where?
Well, yeah, maybe. Who knows? But we'll find out. It's a cool can, so we'll look at that anyway.
Yes, I do like that brand.
That's the other thing. Yes, no, I know. That's the other thing we should have on the tasting notes. We should have not just appearance, but we should have artwork.
Yeah. Yes.
Some of the ones that that we're getting, particularly, they put a lot of work into the artwork of the can and stuff. So
my oldest, he often compliments the beers I've chosen because of the artwork and how artistic they are and imaginative. Sometimes they won't have anything to do with the beer.
No,
but it's just the whoever decided to do it. Yeah, it just looks great.
And I think they deserve it because some of the artwork is pretty damn elaborate. It's pretty damn cool. So the artwork on this one's pretty cool as well. So
well, do you want to start off then, seeing as you've got the really pretty one?
Well, give me a second. I'll just get the segment properly happening. We need a little bit of backup music here, so let's just get.
I got excited when I saw your one. I went, "Ooh, I haven't had that one. I've had others from that brewery." So, yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, no, I thought you had actually, and I wasn't sure if you had them on this program before.
That I'm not sure. I don't think so.
So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe." We'll see.
I've had some of their other beers.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So here we go. I'll put this up to the camera.
Oh, I might just get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. They're just so pretty, especially with the hops there.
I know, it's really cool. A psych hops. Very good.
Psych hops.
Psych hops. Very good.
I like it. I like it.
Very good. Very good. So, Metamorphosis IPA, after being crushed to goo at the hands of the Mechagorandan, the mysterious beastie plots future devastation from within the hop cocoon. Will its multi-photosynthate provide sweet relief from the bitter lupulin coursing through its xylem and phloem? Well, the answer is yes, obviously. Answer is yes.
67.
Yes. What was the answer? Well, what was the answer to what was it? Bloody
42,
Jesus.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was 42. Yeah. What's the question? I can't remember the question.
The meaning of life.
No, it's not. No? It's not the meaning of life. It's God.
Is that from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's it.
Yeah.
What was the answer to life or something? 42. That's right.
Okay, this is the Jeopardy question for all the viewers out there. Leave a comment with what is the question to 42.
Yes, do that. blurts@gmail.com.
That's what we need.
Right in.
Yes.
If you already subscribe to the show, you've already got the email, so just write in. Or you can get us on Twitter at blurtnew or Instagram. I'm still trying to work out Instagram, but anyway. Obviously, you can get us on the Facebook channel. And as I said, email. Just let us know. The question to the answer, 42, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That'd be great. And now, here comes the beer. Putting it into the mic now. Here we go.
Oh. Love that sound.
Love that sound. So, as we know,
yeah,
I need to pour it down the side and then just pour it up the top.
Just to finish it off.
And then we just let it sit there for a bit.
I'm trying to look. I can't see.
That's all right. I'll show you. That's what we have so
Oh,
far.
wow, that's big head.
It is. I've been told that before. In fact, my nana years ago, when I was like, oh man, I must have been 7. Yeah, I would have had to be 7 because I only saw my nana when I was 7 in England.
Right. Yeah.
She gave my sister a brush or a comb or something. I can't remember. She gave her a comb or something, and hers said Kerry. And then, because in those days they had like a leather pouch and they had a comb in them, you know.
Oh yeah. I think I know those. Yeah.
And mine said big head.
You were smart. You were a smart boy.
When I was 7, and that I was slightly traumatized by that, and I just had to say to Mum, I said, "Well, I don't understand. Why doesn't it just say Keeley?" So, but anyway, so there you go. All right, so I'm just.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that story, but I'm glad it was nice and clean.
Yes, very clean. Just smashing the CO2 out of existence there. Yeah. Beautiful color, lovely color.
Oh, looks very. Look, it matches my top, my t-shirt.
It does. It really does. It does match your top. Very true. Monkey chuck yellow. No. Smells great. Smells really good. So if you want to put the tasting notes up.
Yep, I'll get that back up. There we go. Okay, so appearance. Very okay, what's the smell out of 10?
It's not half bad. It's got to be said. Just got that alcohol. Smell. It's probably 8. It's pretty damn good.
Really
it's pretty
good.
Nice.
Appearance.
Oh, it's lovely. What's that out of 10? As well? I'd say 8. Yeah.
8.
Very nice. Very nice.
Out of 30.
IPA. Very nice. Taste out of 30. Probably 25. It's pretty good.
Jeez, that's one of
I'm
the
actually a little bit surprised how high the alcohol is for how good the beer is.
What was the alcohol on that one?
6.7.
Wow, okay. 2 most in one sitting, especially on a leisurely afternoon. Aftertaste.
Aftertaste is really good. Goes down really well. There's no sort of bitter after. Nothing happening there. No, it's good.
Okay.
It's very good.
So it's low on the
aftertaste. 17.
17 out of 20. Nice.
So we're looking at 33, 68 so far. No, 58 so far. And then
drinkability. Would you come back to it?
Yeah, I definitely would. I'd give it another 25.
Sweet.
It's about 83, I think.
That's 50, 66. Yeah, you're right. 83. That's one of the highest we've had for a while. Well,
yeah, no, it's good. It's a lovely beer.
Yeah.
So the 82, was that, did I give an 82 or did you?
That would have been you, because I know mine was Yuli's Brews, which I gave
87. Yeah, you were high up there.
Yeah.
No, this is a really nice beer. It's very nice. Well done, you metamorphosis. Very good.
What are you going to metamorphosis into?
Very good question. Asleep.
Asleep. I was just thinking that. Maybe that's why they gave it that name.
Exactly
So
right.
high.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
All right.
Okay, my friend. Let's go.
Okay, so mine is Easy Times Brewing Company,
Yeah.
and it's the Big Easy
The Big Easy.
IPA. So
It sort of reminds me of like a 70s label.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And a bit Japanese-like because of that little symbol at the top.
It's quite weird actually. It's got a little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly. This one is a local brewery in Wollongabba, so close to the Gabba Stadium in just south of Brisbane City.
Oh, another Brisbanean.
Yeah, Vegas. 6% in alcohol, and the hops used are Galaxy, Cascade, and Citra, and the malts are pale, crystal, and wheat. So boasting a firm bitterness with aromas of passion fruit, peach, and citrus, the Big Easy is a beer from times gone by.
Yeah,
when oats belonged in porridge
I don't know.
and dessert
That sounds
beers
like
stayed at
a
Gabs.
lot of fruit in there. I don't know.
Might be a traditional IPA without all the wanky flavors that they've added.
Who knows? I don't know. What's the damage alcohol-wise?
6% on this one, so slightly lighter than yours. So let's give this one a crack.
Good sound.
Sure is. And now for the pour. Let me get
nice.
Let me just remove that.
Nice.
So we get a better view.
Oh yes, lovely.
How's that?
Let's see what colour we get. Oh, it's very similar. Well, it's an IPA, isn't it? So
yeah, it's an IPA, so it should be nice and golden, not too dark.
No, they're pretty much identical.
Yeah, head's not as big as yours. Yours is still pretty.
Again, I've been told that before.
Heady. All right, so
yeah, look at
it's
that.
almost very similar in colour.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep, there.
So
yeah. So for those listening,
identical.
we are just comparing our glasses.
We are.
And our beers, and they're very similar.
Yeah. Colours almost identical.
A little bit hazy, but not like your traditional hazy IPAs.
Hazy IPA, yeah.
So appearance-wise, I'd give it an 8 as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know if I'd ever give it an appearance with anything lower than 8, because what would constitute a shit appearance?
I think it might have to have like a little turd at the bottom of it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure what's going to put you off. I don't know.
Yeah, or a worm. Oh, hang on, that's in tequila.
That would be better. That would be better.
Yeah, would be. All right, let's go for smell. Yeah, I can smell a bit of the passion fruit and peach. I think I smell a bit of peach in there.
Wow.
Yep. Oh, I actually quite like that smell, the aroma. I'll give that a 9. All right, let's go for a taste.
This could be interesting.
A little bit bitter. I can taste the bitterness on the side of the palate, but not disturbingly bitter. I'd give it 25 as well.
Okay.
Aftertaste. I can still taste some of that passion fruit and stone fruit of some sort. Peach, maybe. I think it's peach.
Wow.
So I can still taste it. So it's not unpleasant. It's not fantastically great, but very, very passable. I'd give it 18.
I know you feel like you can taste it. You definitely sound like you're full of it. There's no doubt about that.
Shut up, you. Drinkability. Yeah, I think I could keep drinking this. I'll give it 25. Probably take me a
very
little
nice.
bit longer to fall asleep, but but hey,
68. That's a huge one. 68.17. Oh my god, that's 85.
85. So
Maybe 95. No, I think it's 85.
no, it should be a little bit around your one. So one.
Yeah, but you win again.
Yeah.
You win again.
Yeah, but hey, both great beers though.
Oh yes, highly recommended. So people, go out and get yourself a K-Dewey beer, Metamorphosis IPA, and an Easy Times, the Big Easy. As always, all this stuff will be in the show notes anyway, and the potty will be out on Monday, so you can have a listen if you're not already listening.
Exactly.
That is. And yeah, this cost me $7.50, so they're not cheap.
Craft beer never is.
No, it's not. And this has got 2 standard drinks, so don't be driving anywhere drinking any of these.
Yeah, this one's pretty close. 1.8.
Thought it might be.
Yeah. But yeah, both good beers. Go out
Very
there,
good. Very
give them
good.
a crack. You
I
should
think
like
so.
it.
Absolutely. And now it's time for a bit of this.
Hey guys, Ashley Fusame here. I want to say see you next week on the new Blurt with Wency and Kexta.
Well, he keeps saying he's going to see us next week, but seriously, he's been a bit slack. He has been a bit slack. But we'll probably catch up with him after the election.
That'd be good.
It will be. He had a show just the other night in St Kilda with some really good artists, actually.
Okay.
Comedians. So, yeah, he's doing some good lineups. I saw it.
Wait, was that at the Comics Lounge or was it? Oh, you said St Kilda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where in St Kilda, but it was in St Kilda. So
Okay.
I'm not going out there, but I will have to get out to the Comics Lounge again, and I need to get in touch with the Comics Lounge as well so that we can promote their stuff and different giveaways and those sort of things. I just haven't got off my ass and got that happening. But just while we are talking about that and people coming on the show, etc., we do have Good Edie coming on the show on the 14th of May.
May or June?
June. And because I decided that, as you know, I'm going away for a few weeks from the 21st of May. So I'll still be doing the show, but I will be doing it from New Zealand.
And it's going to be very late for you, 10 p.m.
Yes, I know you said that. So I'm not looking forward to that. But anyway.
I'll have to do a Beerducation. I want to see you drink a beer at 10 p.m.
Definitely not doing that. I'm definitely not doing that. We might have to do a wine oration or something.
Okay. New segment coming soon.
But anyway, so Good Edie are going to be on the 14th of June, and the only thing we're going to say about Good Edie is that there will be giveaways. And so if you are listening to the potty now, make sure you listen to the 14th of June, because the giveaways will be Keep Cups, chocolate-flavoured ones, and strawberry-flavoured ones. So, yeah. And
so for those who haven't worked it out, Good Edie are disposable coffee cups or teacups, but are edible as well.
Correct. So don't dispose of them, eat them. It's better for the environment.
Exactly.
So we're going to have them on. They're going to explain about their company, what's going on, and maybe if you want to get involved, etc., etc. So that should be a bit of fun. But
looking forward to that.
and also next week. No, it's not next week. Yes, it is next week. Who have we got on next week, Wency?
We have Councillor Nicole Johnson, who is a Brisbane local councillor for Brisbane City Council in the ward where I used to live before we got flooded, or when we got flooded. So that's the Tennyson ward. So she's going to be on the show, and yeah, we'll.
Is she a Greens
person? No,
or?
she is an independent.
Right.
So,
right.
yep. So independent councillor. I think from memory, she was the only one in council at the moment who is independent, and the majority of them are Liberal LNP councillors. So, yeah. So she's very alone, I guess, in that respect.
Yes.
But she does great work, and we'll find out all the good work she's done recently.
It sounds a bit of that sort of that tune. No, I can't do it. It's that West one goes do 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 do. Yes. And then the tumbleweeds just roll in afterwards. That's what it sounds like. But, unfortunately.
Yeah. But, so I'd be curious to see how tough it's been being an independent in a heavily stacked Liberal council, and how she gets around it. Yeah. So we'll find out all about it next week.
Excellent. So look out for that, people. And now, bit of this. One of my favourite segments that we do on this show is trying to promote, educate, and let people know about some amazing First Nations people that have been and gone and still with us and doing some amazing things. And we've had a fantastic, I apologise, Hannah. What was Hannah's surname?
Melville Ray? No.
Hannah. Anyway, Hannah from CSIRO, First Nations scientist. She was sensational. She's been on the show and in this segment, and she was very pleased that we had a segment like this. And both Wency and I are very, very happy to do it because we believe in the cause so much. So, anyway, today I am talking about Nayuka Gori, and she first spoke at the 2018 Stella Prize shortlist party at the Giant Dwarf in Redfern, Sydney. And I could be wrong, but I think Giant Dwarf is Andrew Denton's company. So whether he has anything to do with that particular venue or not, I'm not sure. But the one of the tweets that she said, and she's put out, she's full on. She doesn't take a backward step. This week, I've been thinking about the ways we are killed young. There are so many ways we are killed even before we set foot in racist medical institution. Coping mechanisms, alcohol, smoking, drugs, they are bad for us, but they feel good. They are reprieve from the shit. I believe that she is a writer. She speaks really, really well. And we've got a little bit of a YouTube clip of her talking about why she doesn't agree with the First Nation force being in the Constitution, which is really interesting because from our perspective, we're going, yes, we want to get the First Nation force in the Constitution. She's a First Nations person and she's saying she doesn't. So very interesting to understand why. She's known as one of Australia's most prominent and outspoken Aboriginal activists and writer. She's very young. And, underscoring black politics and feminism. Gori draws much needed focus to topics such as constitutional recognition, black incarceration, and youth culture. So sit back, don't relax. You won't be relaxed by this, but you will be educated and have a listen to what she's got to say. Nayuka Gori.
My name is Nayuka. I'm a Gunai Konai, Gunditjmara, Wiradjuri, and Yorta Yorta woman. What do Andrew Bolt, Cory Bernardi, and I have in common? We all don't support constitutional recognition. My reasons, however, are very different from theirs. I really believed in it, probably for the same reasons you might. Racism sucks and shouldn't be in the Constitution. Certain clauses stink and need to go. And surely it doesn't hurt to mention some truth in this old document. Right now, I just want to yell, fuck your recognition. I know you think it's the right thing to do, but I don't want it and we don't need it. I want a treaty. treaty forces you to see me as an equal with a separate identity, history, and culture that has existed for tens of thousands of years. Recognition forces me to ask to be seen by you in a colonial system that I don't want to legitimize. Fuck that. Imagine for a moment you're living in this sick share house. You have rules, you have food, and you all pay rent on time. Then suddenly, some random starts rocking up and uses your shit and utilities. After 228 years, you're like, hey bro, can we talk about that time you moved in and didn't ask? Hey, I made this joint better. You should thank me for squatting. They've made themselves so comfortable that your only real choice is to ask them to sign on to the lease. We were here first, you say. Pay the bond. You keep putting holes in our pristine walls. But instead, this housemate says they'll recognize you and they'll ask all their friends which way would be the best way to do it. All you want is this housemate on the lease. Treaties are legal mechanisms between two parties that recognise one another's sovereignty. Like any negotiation, some people get stuff and some people lose stuff. So far, this whole invasion meant us losing stuff, getting scraps, and being told to be thankful. The thing we want recognised is our sovereignty. We fought, we were massacred, we were subject to genocidal policies, but not once did we give up our sovereignty. Time may have gone on, but the elephant in the share house remains and continues to grow. Most colonised nations have treaties.
Order.
In fact, Australia is the only Commonwealth country without one. They aren't perfect, but they are tangible and are a good bloody start. Another concern I have is that constitutional recognition is entirely symbolic. Symbolism does matter, but it needs to be coupled with something real and tangible. Take, for example, the 2008 apology.
As Prime Minister of Australia, I am sorry.
Kevin Rudd's words don't mean much to me when we have more black kids than ever being taken from their homes. This is a fluff piece for white people to feel good about themselves without any implications for the real world, which is why it's appealing. It is the legal equivalent of sharing that dumb Coney video. Nice, misguided, and does fuck all.
For 26 years, Coney has been kidnapping children into his rebel group, the LRA.
I'm just one of over 500,000 black people in Australia. There are a few black fellas who want recognition and a few that don't, and I don't pretend to represent anyone but myself. But together, we make up less than 3% of the Australian population. Even if every single black Australian voted against constitutional recognition, we still wouldn't have the numbers to outvote the rest of the country who are being told, vote yes. Let's try another metaphor. Say you're in an auditorium with a bunch of other people, 97 of them to be exact. There are 3 spare seats up the front that you and your 2 friends want, but every single person has to vote to decide if you get them. Can't we just take the 3 up the front, you ask? Hey, the front is rad, but you can't just decide where you sit, the reply comes. We all get a say, you fascist. This is where we really are. Black Australia has been in the room the entire time. We were there first, but where we get to sit is still being decided by people who aren't us. Democracy is tops, but I can't see any point in any political action that disempowers people in the process without any meaningful outcomes. What would be even more tops, and I'm sure at least a couple of you would be thinking this, is to maybe just ask us what we want to do and where we want to sit. Right now, black people across the country are mobilising to push for a treaty. And right now, I ask that you back them.
She's very powerful and very young, and us being very white. It's hard to argue with her concepts and her arguments, I suppose. But the only thing I suppose I will take take argument on slightly, I suppose, is I do actually believe that Kevin Rudd, when he gave that apology, actually did mean it. But when that was, I think it was 2007, etc. And I know that we still, as we've spoken many times, we haven't done anywhere near enough in this space. And she's obviously 100% right. We need more Indigenous in government to be able to ask them what they feel. What's going to help, or what is, what is not the solution. That's a horrible word, and being white,
how we can progress.
Yeah, exactly right. How we progress and how we become an Australia that we're all proud of. And until we embrace our First Nations, it's just not quite right.
I know a few years ago there was the Uluru Statement of the Heart.
Yes.
Which gathered all different countries and peoples, and they came to I guess an agreement, I think it was, on how they should progress. And part of it was to get a voice in the Constitution and Parliament. But there's obviously a treaty that needs to be done. And like she said, we're the only Commonwealth country that still has no treaty, which is absolutely disgraceful and embarrassing that we've done nothing. I think if Kevin Rudd hadn't been toppled, backstabbed, whatever, maybe something could have happened.
That's sort of how I feel. That's sort of how I feel as well.
Yeah, because that would have been the start of his plan, I'm guessing. But yeah, go on.
I know. I was just going to say, I know that Victoria is looking at a tree and has got the it's got all the sort of forms in place, etc. But I need to do more research on that. And in fact, that's what I might do for the next episode when we do this, to come back with a bit more information of exactly where that is, because I'm particularly interested and keen to know where it is, and hopefully it's progressing in the right direction faster than nationally. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Insiders on Sunday, but they had Adam Bant, leader of the Greens, being interviewed by Spearsy.
No, but since you said that, I will pick that up. I've gone off Insiders a bit since Spearsy took over. I was a big Barry Cassidy fan, and he's no
same.
Spearsy's no Barry Cassidy.
No, definitely not. But I do like Insiders because of they sum up what's happened in politics in the previous week, obviously, and because that's what the show's all about. And I still like the moving pictures at the end.
Yeah,
which is
I really like that as well. I do. You don't see Phil Curry that much on there anymore, and you don't see Jared Henderson, who I never liked, but you never see him on there. Maybe he just doesn't want to be on there. Maybe he's on Sky all the time. But you don't see David Marr either, and I love David Marr. And you don't see Mike Seacombe, and you don't see. There's another sort of a tubbier, sort of older guy who's really good, and I can't remember his name. You don't see him.
Yeah.
You see
I guess they try to keep the balance with right and left journos.
I feel it's just gone more to the right. I mean, some of the West Australian ones he has on a News Corp back. Then he had James Campbell on, who's News Corp back. Yeah. Then he has Spearsy, who used to work for Sky himself, and Sam Maiden works for news.com.au, and then you see the odd Karen Middleton, the odd Amy Ramikis, and then you might see a bit of Catherine Murphy and Sarah Martin. But you see a lot of the others more, I find, and Nikki Saver. I quite like Nikki Saver, actually. I never used to, but she seems to be. I know it's quite obvious she hates Scott Morrison. That's quite obvious.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
So Probably makes me like her, I suppose.
Yeah, true. But with the Adam Bant interview, Spearsy was trying to get him to pin down what he wanted or what the Greens were wanting to do, voice to Parliament or a treaty.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so, yes, the Greens do support the voice to voice for their voice in Parliament and the Constitution, but we need to start talking about a treaty, because a treaty can take years or decades to nut out, especially with all the different Aboriginal or First Nations that are in this country, that trying to get an agreement between them all will be hard, just like the Uluru Statement of the Heart. That took quite a lot of effort to come to an agreement. So
yeah, definitely.
Getting a treaty is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, the conversation and the actions need to start now.
You're right, because what we've done wrong as White Australia for so long is that you treat all of these individual nations around Australia as Nayuka said, there's only 500,000 of them, but still of the 500,000, there's heaps of nations inside that.
Yeah.
As a block. And you can't do that because so many of them have got different ideas. Nayuka is a classic example.
Yeah.
You know,
I see her point.
Yeah, definitely.
That we need a treaty first, but it's just going to be so hard to get a treaty.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was so hard to get the Uluru Statement. So
yeah, and the actions haven't come forward from that.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we need to crack on, my friend. 57 minutes in.
Oh, wow.
Yes, let's crack on. What do you got for me? What you got?
I'll be real quick. I just wanted to quickly talk about the First Nations candidates that are running in the current election. We've got Lydia Thorpe, who used to be a Victorian senator, who then moved to.
Did you want me to try and find pictures and bring them up while you're talking about them?
No, it's okay. We'll put it in the show notes and things like that.
No worries, no problem.
But yes, we've currently got 4 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Parliament. We've got Labor's Pat Dodson and Linda Burney.
I like both of those.
Yep, exactly. We've got the Greens' Dorinda Cox from WA and Lydia Thorpe from Victoria. So we've got 5 in Parliament at the moment, and we've got the Liberals.
Oh, they're there right now.
Ken White, yeah. So these are current Indigenous
are they in the
senators.
Senate or
all in the Senate.
All in the Senate.
No, Senate and House of Reps.
Oh, really?
So a bit of both.
Oh, yes, because Linda Burney's in the House of Reps.
Yeah, so Lydia's in the Senate as a Green senator.
Yep. Pat Dodson is in his House of Reps too. Pat Dodson.
His House of Reps. Ken White's House of Reps. So I'm not sure if he's on the front bench with the Liberals, but I believe he is.
Yeah, he is.
Or is in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ken White.
Then we've got Linda. Yeah. Then we've got Linda Burney, who's front bench for Labor. And then the 2 Greens were Dorinda Cox and Lydia Thorpe in the Senate. So 3 in the House of Reps and 2 in
And
the
what
Senate.
are their seats looking like? All of their seats, what are their margins like?
I didn't look at the margins, but they comfortably hold their seats at the moment. And I think the Greens in particular will probably retain their margins, because there is a bit of a push with the Greens at the moment across the nation because of the 2 parties. There's a bit of I guess people a bit disillusioned by the major parties. So a lot of some quite often that goes to the Greens, but unfortunately, as you and I both know, often the Greens take votes away from Labor, and not always necessarily from other parties.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Exactly. But in Northern Territory, there's only 2 seats for the Senate. There's one for Lingiari, it's currently held by ALP,
Yes.
But Warren Snowden is retiring, and so
yes.
Marion Scrimegower, I don't know how to pronounce her surname.
Yeah.
She's
I knew about the Warren
Indigenous.
Snowden retirement. He's been a very good member for them up there forever. I don't think
for a long time, for decades. Yeah, it's been so he's retiring. He's 68, I think he was.
Lingiari. That's all about where Gough Whitlam was years ago.
Yeah, so it's pretty much all of Northern Territory except for Darwin and Palmerston. So the Solomon seat is just Darwin itself and Palmerston.
Wow.
But
so there's only two seats in NT, is that correct?
In the NT, correct.
Do we know what the pop is? What's the pop of NT?
No. Considering a seat is usually about 150, or is it 200,000 people?
Don't know. Really don't know.
Yeah.
I have to look
I think that's So Lingiari is heavily populated by Indigenous people, as you can imagine. So it's most of Northern Territory, and with Marion stepping in to replace Warren, it's expected she'll win. So we'll have another Indigenous senator there. Oh, sorry, House of Reps.
Yeah.
So so hopefully we'll see a few more. There are some others that are candidates, but they're not going to. Unlikely that they'll win. They're not in seats that will win. But yeah, it's good to see that we're going to see more Indigenous people coming into Parliament. So, and I think that's quite important that we start growing that number.
Well, I think you're 100% right, but I think diversity of all kinds we need, and then we need more women, we need more Indigenous, we need more trans, we need more, everything. We need more people with disabilities, like the Green, I think he's a Green senator. He's an absolute cracker.
Yeah, he is. Jordan
Steele.
Like Jordan Steele, that's it.
Yeah, he's an absolute cracker. And the Greens must be wrapped that he's with that party.
Exactly.
So we just need all walks of life,
Yeah.
And
better representation in Parliament, just like we have in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Freaking absolutely.
Well, that's all I had, seeing as we've got a long show.
Short show. How's it going? Happy 50th! Hey, get this crazy man off the streets!
Notice, but lately I've been drifting aimlessly.
Oh my God. Would you stop changing channels and just tell me what's on the box?
Yeah, what's on the box? So, Wency, my friend, you have...
I have a
pretty cool
little show. Literally, it is little because it is about little people, little young people. It's a Japanese show, and they basically send their toddlers out on errands.
On purpose?
On purpose, yes. They're very determined to get the young kid out there and doing something that most Westerners, or especially me, you maybe, wouldn't let our kids, would have a heart attack. Sending your kid out onto a public road, walking 1 or 2 kilometers to do, I don't know, shopping or get things and then come back. And it's great listening to it in Japanese. You can get it dubbed, but I prefer listening to the original because you hear the emotion.
Yeah, it'd be much better.
You hear the emotion and everything else. I believe you've got a trailer.
I do indeed. So sit back, people. This is far more relaxing than listening to Nayuka. So you can relax on this one. But make sure you look up Nayuka. She's a very, very interesting lady.
We will have her in the show notes.
We will indeed. Okay, here we go. Old enough.
Just under 3 years old and embarking on a mile-long parent-free journey. He walks along this busy road before arriving at the grocery store where he's tasked with buying food and flowers. He then returns home, his first errand complete. The show is called Old Enough with an exclamation point, though some might argue a question mark is more appropriate. It's generating all kinds of discussion.
I mean, I raised my kids in bubbles, and I protected them, and I put up some guardrails, but I would not do this.
Japan is very different than the U.S. Neighborhoods are more pedestrian friendly, and the culture is more trusting of kids. In Japan, parents chaperone their 10 and 11-year-olds on just 15% of trips, compared with 65% here. One episode shows a 3-year-old crossing streets on her own to deliver her dad's lunch to his job. Another shows a toddler navigating public transport. On social media, newfound fans are calling the series adorable, sweet, and the most wholesome thing I've ever seen. Some parenting experts think American audiences can learn from the show.
It's a little nerve-wracking to let your kids go, but when you do, they will just impress you.
There are people who are critical of this. They say this is irresponsible. We have crime in America. Our neighborhoods are not laid out the same way. What do you say to that?
If you're telling kids that everything they do is they're incompetent, they're in danger, watch out, they need us all the time, that might explain why kids are so anxious and depressed.
Old Enough takes many steps to keep the kids safe, with camera crews and safety teams always nearby. When darkness falls on one girl, the crew intervenes, lighting her way home.
Netflix recently dropped 20 episodes ranging in length from 7 to 20 minutes. They're short episodes. It has not released any stats about the show's popularity. They question.
Well, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's cute, like I said, adorable. Your jaw might drop when you go, oh my God, they did what?
Is it compulsive viewing? Like you're sort of watching it and you're just going, oh, I've got to see what they're doing next, sort of thing? Or do you get sucked in? Do you get sucked in?
You do get sucked in. I joined in late because my kids and partner were watching it while I was in Melbourne. So I think they'd seen 2 or 3 episodes before maybe more, before I started watching it. And I went, I'm not going to enjoy this. This sounds stupid. And then the more I watch, and like they just said, they're only 8 to 15-minute long episodes, and there's 20 of them in total.
Oh, wow.
So, you'll get through them real quick. You can binge watch it in a couple of hours. Yeah. But, it's you got to remember where they film this, it's mostly country towns.
Ah, okay.
So you're not in Tokyo. You're not in Nagasaki.
You're not in the middle of LA sending your 2-year-old out.
Exactly. And
making sure your 2-year-old's got the right color on.
Yeah, exactly. But you do get to learn a bit, and then I've just started thinking, oh, maybe that's a nice place to go live. I like that country town. They're very wholesome and very calm, and yes, it's a good show to watch.
Yeah. No, you've got me intrigued. You've definitely got me intrigued. So we will do that. And obviously, as always, we'll have it in the show notes. All that information.
In case, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's on Netflix.
Yes, it's in Netflix. Yeah, it's now talking about Netflix. Netflix is losing licensed hit shows to streaming rivals at the moment. I don't know if you know about this, but they face a threat of exodus of a number of their hit shows. So they've just lost Friends, Pretty Little Liars, and Paw Patrol.
Oh, no, not Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, which is a kids show. It's been on Netflix for a long time. Licensed from rivals building their own streaming services. So Netflix, I read this the other day, they lost 200 million subscribers or something, I think it was, or 200,000. It was 200 something, and it was a big number of subscribers Netflix just lost. It's interesting exactly why, but Netflix market value was slashed by almost 60 billion as investors panicked that the decade-long streaming boom has come to an end after the company's forecast it would lose millions of subscribers in the first half of this year. So that's what I was talking about. So
Yeah.
Netflix invests billions of dollars annually in its original content, starting with House of Cards. As we know, that was their first one. And Squid Game and Bridgerton. I don't know if you've seen Bridgerton at all.
No.
In a long-term strategy designed to insulate its business from the impact of Hollywood rivals, pulling content they license for their own services. So I think this is talking about Paramount and HBO and
Disney, Hulu.
Yes, Hulu. All of these services are all getting on board now and taking Netflix's market share. They're not too happy about it.
No, I wouldn't be happy either.
No, I don't think so either. So in the first 2 months of the year, 31% of 150 most viewed shows and films by British users belonged to Netflix competition.
Right.
And a quarter of all viewing was to content owned by rivals with streaming services of their own. So there certainly is a risk for Netflix, says Richard Broughton, the analyst at Ampere. A significant number of its highest performance titles are licensed from studios within the house, streaming ambitions of their own. So classic example here is when Disney entered the market. They took all of the Marvel stuff and they took all of the Disney stuff. I think Netflix had heaps of that.
Yeah, they
And
had
took
some
it
of
all
that. Yeah.
because they're licensed to it.
Yeah.
This is a classic example. And this is the big one. We're sorry to see Friends go to Warner's streaming service at the beginning of 2020. So you can't watch Friends on Netflix anymore.
No, right. It probably depends on the country as well, because I'm sure there's different agreements in each country. Until they expire, that's when they start losing it.
That could well be true. You may still be able to watch Friends in Australia. That could well be true. But HBO Max is yet to launch in the UK. This is The Guardian, and I think it's a Guardian UK, with Warner Brothers Discovery locked in a content deal with Sky until 2025. That blocks the launch of a standalone streaming service. Sky owner Comcast has also removed big hits such as the US version of The Office to make its Peacock streaming service more attractive in the US. That's Peacock. But has so far decided not to launch its standalone streaming rival to the Netflix in the UK. So, again, as usual, the full article will be in the show notes. But for a couple... Sorry?
I was just going to say the annoying thing about all this streaming wars is you're going to end up spending about $1,000 a month just to have every service so you can watch the shows that you want to watch. It's ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, you're 100% correct. 100% correct. It does. It gets really expensive. I mean, we're watching. I think we're pretty much on Stan and Netflix at the moment. I think we tend to switch from Disney, Stan, Netflix, but Netflix seems to be the one that stays there all the time.
Yeah. We're the same. We've had Netflix since they arrived. So we've had it for 10 years or whatever it is here in Australia. We had Stan for a while, got rid of it. Disney we're on at the moment. Amazon Prime we're on for the moment. But that's going to go when the current subscription expires. And we'll go to another service. Maybe Paramount. They've got a few good things by the sounds of it. So
No, they have. And the thing that people do forget is SBS, which is totally free. Or iView, which is totally free. And they both got really good movies and really good programs.
Especially SBS with their movies. And they'll have some of the foreign movies too, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And they've got some fantastic documentaries on there as well. So you're 100% correct there. So I'm just going to close this up. The top 10 shows on Netflix by minutes viewed by the UK subscribers. So it's Friends, Stay Close, Big Bang Theory number 3, Ozark,
heard of it,
which I've been told by someone Ozark is awesome. I haven't watched it, but it's Jason Bateman, so I know it's going to be good.
Oh, that should be good.
I love Jason Bateman. Anything. Inventing Anna, which looks very sinister. Very sinister. And Afterlife, which is Ricky Gervais. That's an absolute cracker. If you haven't seen Afterlife, watch it from go to life.
I think I started watching it and went, okay.
Yeah, no. Right. You gotta go 3 episodes in.
Yeah, okay.
Got to go through. Yeah, no, you have to. Afterlife is awesome. You've got to go 3 episodes in, believe me.
Okay.
The Office, and I don't know which one that is. I don't know if it's the UK or the US, but I will say the US is nowhere near as good as the UK. But that's just my bias. Peppa Pig, Cobra Kai. Someone told me about that. All of Us Are Dead, which sounds wonderful. So that's the top 10 UK. But as you can tell, and as we just alluded to there, there's so many now. It's just so hard to know, so hard to know where to go. So
I think your best bet is just chop and change, use them for a year or two, and then go to the next one.
Well, not even a year. At times it's just a month. You might. The one thing I do like about it though is that you go, okay, I found a series I really, really like, so I'm going to just going to subscribe to this till I finish the series. Then I'm going to jump off, go somewhere else, find another series I like. I like that because I can't stand ads. I don't watch commercial channels as a rule. I don't see many ads. So it's funny when we do watch a commercial channel and an ad comes on, I lose my shit because I'm just not used to seeing an ad. And I'm not happy about it.
I know. I'm the same with radio. I don't listen to commercial radio.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think if it turned on in our house, I think our Google player would just blow up, basically. I don't think he could handle it.
No. Top search result. Okay, Google.
The Google called it.
Is that what it was? I heard. I heard. Yeah, I heard. Oh, here are the top results for.
Really? Did Google say something?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody well did. Stop listening.
Google knows all. Right. She's listening.
Yes,
she's listening.
always listening. So, but anyway, so that's me gone. And
interesting. So, big reminder for next week, we have Councillor Nicole Johnson on the show. What else have we got on the show? We should look at the note.
But what do we got next week? We got Councillor on. What else we got?
We have Councillor. I don't know. We haven't gone that far. I thought we had.
Did we not? I thought we did too. I thought we sorted this shit out.
I thought so too.
All right, we'll have to crack on again.
We'll make it up as we go.
Yeah, look, we definitely have Councillor Nicole Johnson on next week. Interview with Wency, and that should be very cool. So that'll be good too. Is she on live or is she recorded?
It'll be a recorded interview or chat.
Yeah.
Prefer chat because
we'll pop it up.
That's what it is. But
that'll be good. That'll be excellent. I look forward to that. We'll have another very good show for you next week. And then the week after that, we will have Dylan Behan from Newsfighters back on. He was with us earlier this year when we had massive internet issues, and we are not getting them now, which is very good. And he's very politely and generously said he's more than happy to come back on. I thought he would be great to have on just before the election weekend. So the only thing I will say is get out there and vote, people. If you're not going to be in the country, make sure you get your postal vote in. If you're not going to be in the area, make sure you know where you're going to vote on the day.
Yes. And don't forget preferential voting.
Yes.
Isn't wasted.
No, it isn't. It isn't. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm just going to tell you whatever you do, don't vote for Clive Palmer or ScoMo.
Yes.
Independent, Greens, Labor, take your pick, go for your life.
Yeah, exactly.
But, if you want to change your country and make it a bit better,
exactly.
Think about what you're doing.
Think about the future.
It is about the future, a better future, hopefully.
A better Australia.
Yes, a better Australia.
That's what
More
we need.
caring Australia. Yes.
Yeah, let's get back to the people.
Yes.
And who we love to be with, and health, education, and all that stuff.
Climate change. Do something about it.
Indigenous voice.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Cheers, my friend.
All right. It's been lovely. Well,
It has been
okay.
indeed.
Cheers. Mine's
Oh,
done.
you're already done.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness me.
I'm done.
All right. Till next week.
Chink. Bye.
Chink. Night, people. See you next week. Potty out on Monday.